record right now. And I'm Scott with Synch. So we obviously run a integration automation technology platform. We work with a lot of the different real estate systems. But why we're here is because we have the Tam brothers on, who run a few different companies, but they're a big company called Cast Services, and they're doing some incredible stuff with automation and AI. And it's almost over my head. I don't even know what's going on half the time. It's unbelievable. But David and Chris are doing some amazing things. And so we want to talk about it. We want to talk about how you guys are helping agent teams just be more successful, get more efficient, automate more of their systems, automate the systems they're using. And obviously with that would lead to more production, more productive agents, take the kind of the sandpaper out of the agents working within the systems and get the systems working for you. Right. So maybe briefly, David, Chris, you guys can kind of introduce yourself real quick, and then, what we're going to, specifically go through today.
Yeah, man. I'm actually going to hand it over to Chris first, but correction, it's not sandpaper. It's like a high grade cheese grater, right? That's like scraping away profit margin by not having it, right? So
yeah.
So
Totally.
Chris, go ahead with an intro, and then I'll follow you, and we'll dive right in. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everybody, obviously, for taking your time. Very quick intro. I come from more of a corporate America background. Got into residential real estate 2010. Between 2010 2014, helped build the highest producing real estate team in the state of Colorado. From there, did some joint ventures in mortgage and title. Was the founder and CEO. David was also a co-founder of FirePoint Solutions from 14 through 17. And then 2017, we started Cast Services, which is AI automation, and then some very high level AI-enabled digital marketing. And then also in 2017, we started Ownership Financial. So we have Ownership Mortgage, which serves teams in brokerage and an income share inside of the real estate space. And we also have Ownership Insurance, which is in 28 states, which does that on the property and casualty and life and disability insurance sides as well. So all of the things that we built are to support agents and their productivity and their profit margins, including things that we'll talk about today.
Beautiful, man. I take notes every time you introduce yourself because I learned something new. So that's a lot to point out. By the way, I'm seeing a lot.
Chris is automation. That was so efficient.
Yeah, I don't know that he's actually human. He's like probably got an off switch somewhere in his neck. But anyway, hello to Emily Bean and everybody else that I'm seeing. It sounds like we've got a lot of common clients, which I love. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to share my screen. Scott, is that okay with you?
Yeah. By all means, let's jump into it and add some value to these teams. Except Ryan.
Ryan, kick Ryan off.
Ryan Poppy, get out of here. Ryan, go.
We love you, Ryan. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer and co-founder of Cast Services. And so this is the presentation that we're going to go through, largely about AI-driven automation. Okay, so we're taking a lot of the tasks in the real estate businesses that we're in 370 markets right now, that we've seen as sticking points, and then leveraging the highest level automation that we've seen in the marketplace to fix a lot of that stuff. So we're coming to you today with 7 live use cases that we're going to walk through. Each one of them is different. The purpose of this is education, so that you can start dreaming about, wow, what in my business could I automate leveraging some of these tools? And really, this is a challenge. Bring it. Right? If you think you have a hard problem with workflow, with internal operations that you think automation might be a good fit for, reach out. Let's have a conversation and see if it's something that we can fix for you. Okay.
Hey, David, can you do full screen or no?
We'll see. I don't know. Let's see. Does that work?
Yep.
Bingo. All right. So this is an individual who's been using automation. And by the way, this goes back, correct me if I'm wrong here, Chris, year and a half, some of the research for some of the automation in our businesses. And then we've got clients that are 6 months, a year live. So this isn't like brand new technology. It's been battle proven and tested. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. So this is a message that was sent with AI and automation, right? So AI actually has the capability to outreach to clients, follow up on leads, send voicemails, text messages, and even videos, right? And so essentially for them, and this is an executive of multi-million-dollar brokerage, that Cast Automation essentially gave them the peace of mind so that they can scale without ballooning their staff costs.
All right. And David, let's get down to like what specifically, like obviously it's the automated text, but like talk a little bit more about the uniqueness of the AI automation here and just this specific example.
No, not yet, because that will spoil the surprise. Okay, we're going to go through the 7 use cases, and this is one of them. But you'll get your cake and have to eat it too. Okay, Scott. Just
all right. I get excited, dude. Sorry.
I know. We've been working with you for a while. So this essentially is the problem. We know that not having perfect or near perfect lead follow-up and processes, one mistake, right? One missed text message, one phone call, one lack of, hey, I would like to connect with you, and you missed the meeting, which happens all the time. Like, we get it, you're busy, right? The real estate industry is booming right now. Can cost you 1-2 commission checks if you're getting both sides of the transaction. And so this is a pain point. This is the pain point for some of the largest billion-dollar companies in the real estate space as well, right? It's not unique just to the individual agent. And so what we wanted to do today is share these live 7 use cases, not just what they can do, but what the impact was, how much money it saved them, right? Operational overhead, et cetera. So let's dive right in. Use case number 1, essentially, is an automation suite that allows us to audit leads within certain timeframes and then go ahead and notify the individual agent, operator, sales manager when the appropriate activity isn't recognized. So let's unpack that a little bit, right? So we can train these tools to actually go in and log into a system and look at the prescribed lead follow-up. Oh, this individual lead didn't get a call, text, or email in the first 5 minutes, and bubble that up. And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong here, we're integrating with Slack channels as well for independent operating systems so that we can notify you in different channels, i.e. to bubble those workflow items up and save that overhead. So what we have found, Scott, 20 to 70% of the leads do not have the prescribed follow-up actions that the business leaders are mandating. And this is probably not news to anyone, right? It's because agents are super, super busy and ISAs get overwhelmed very quickly. So Chris, is there anything you want to add to this particular slide?
I think just like what you said, these are systems that they're using web browsers. They can have 10 browsers and 10 computers open, and the AI or the machine learning, these programs are interacting with websites. They can interact with Excel, with programs, with desktop applications. They can move between systems, they can move data, and they can integrate with pretty much anything, whether it was manually typing in Slack or using Slack's API, which is why we've worked with RealSync to connect to a lot of these different systems. But yes, the automation can basically, if you can dream it, we haven't seen use cases that can't be accomplished yet.
That's amazing. And this is in almost every single CRM, right? Nationwide that we've built automation into. Is that correct?
Yeah, in a sense, you can work with any system. So in a sense, the automation is hired by you, and then you say, what do you want it to do? And then it's customized, it's managed for you, the reporting goes to you. And so in a sense, instead of having to be a Fortune 100 or 500 to have an entire automation team, this is a plug and play, but customized, automating the tasks and processes you want.
Love it, love it. So Scott, does that make sense? Any questions on that use case number 1?
No, it doesn't. Or I don't have questions on it. It does make a lot of sense. And the reality is it's, you're layering this automation suite on top of like the limited automation you may be getting from the system that you purchased, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't want to poo-poo.
Which is okay, right?
Yeah, totally okay. I look at it as a bolt-on supercharger to a well-built engine that's going to give you better gas mileage and more horsepower for less cost, really. Right. At the end of the day.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And again, these are just baselines of what can be. We can create isotopes of these as well as we add layers of functionality, as you'll see as we progress through the presentation, like use case number 2. This is one of my favorites. Why? I'm a marketing guy, right? And I know when somebody calls you, you better have somebody available to speak to them to leverage all of those dollars that you've been investing in marketing for years and years and years, right? So what this tool does is it essentially watches for incoming missed phone calls. And then it goes back and it checks after 5 minutes or 30 seconds or 10 minutes, whatever we want to set that parameter to, and then alert of a missed opportunity, drop a message in Slack to the ISA or the VA or the sales manager, business leader if you wanted to. And on average, we found 200 missed calls per week that don't get responded to within 5 minutes. Guys, these are people that are reaching out to you, asking for help to buy or sell a home, and they're not getting a call back. Guess what you just did? You took that lead, put it on a silver platter, and you handed it to your competition. This fixes that problem. And so what you see here, this is a no kidding real world Excel spreadsheet with the phone calls that were missed and didn't get a response within 5 minutes in a 2-day period. That's a lot. Every single one of those is a potential transaction. This now fixes that problem. Okay, so it can save you 20 to 90 minutes a day, catches the potential 1 to 5 missed opportunities per day, right? And that equates directly into GCI, to your bottom line. So again, that cheese grater that's just stripping away your profit by not having these systems in place. Don't have to deal with it anymore. The automation's got you. Does that one make sense? Yeah? Pay attention, Scott.
Yeah.
I see you trying to look and see who the people are on this screen. So
I'm well, because I moved this so I can see your screen and moved it over to the other side. But yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean,
go ahead.
It's amazing. Right?
Yeah, it's one of the coolest automation tools I've ever seen, right? Because it fixes the entire problem.
So what if the client's not using Slack? Like, what other ways are you getting the ISA? Doesn't matter.
Dude, Messenger pigeon, we can automate it.
Yeah,
right? Like, literally, we probably do handwritten notes if we needed to. But seriously, like we have never encountered an automation obstacle that we could not fix. Why? We've got some of the most brilliant developers on the planet, I believe.
Yeah.
It's a true statement. Yeah. So go ahead.
So David asked a quick question: is there automation around contacting these unanswered, or is it a live person?
Ooh, I've got an answer for you. It's coming. So David, I've got an answer for you. That's going to be use case 4 or 5, I believe. In just a moment. The answer is yes. Chris, is there anything you wanted to add to this one?
Yeah, the only thing I would add here, we've seen some pretty creative, because we've been using this in our companies, which is where the initial battle testing came, because the initial ones of these were super expensive to build. I mean, years ago when it was only Fortune 100, and now we're able to scale this out at a much less expensive because of all the experience and teams that we built. But there's another use case for this, kind of the idea of what if you're making calls from RingCentral or from a phone system? And what if when these calls come back in, you needed to go log into that system, search the phone number, and see if somebody actually made the phone call instead of typing in a note saying made phone call. I mean, again, anything is possible. If when a call comes in 5 minutes later, you want to go open up RingCentral, go to the call log, search the history for the phone number, then report back if it was there. I mean, again, if it's there and if anybody could find it typing on a computer, these systems can type in the computer and can read the screen and get you that information themselves.
It sounds like, are we getting close to the whole Terminators that are just running the entire business? Like and Scott, again, this is the purpose of this is not to put anybody out of work. The purpose of this is to allow your VAs and your staff to be more human, to spend time on those human-facing activities, building content, doing social media, getting on the phone, because that's what is going to get you those deals to capture the GCI. This is the monotony that you don't want to have to deal with, and now you don't have to because automation covers it.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, any sort of aggregating data, like if you're doing it manually as a human, like you shouldn't be doing it anymore.
No.
This is why you guys exist, for this stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so this is a direct quote from one of our clients that's using these tools right now. They've had a 67% increase in total productivity. Like, please wrap your head around that number. If you could do that for your business today, how that would change your balance sheet, your financials, and your life. Would you sleep easier? Yeah, probably. Well, this guy does, right? So not only that, but teams are coming more excited because they don't have to do all that, what I consider brain damage work, right? Just smashing their face against the computer, entering data all day long. Automation's got it covered, okay? So use case number 3 is really, really cool. So this essentially adds a layer of contact process, on top of the provided system. So this is, love the CRMs, all of you, big hug, right? But the CRMs can't always do that high level outreach that automation and AI and machine learning can, okay? So this is what can send to text messages, including manual uploading pictures and URLs, that thing you saw at the very beginning, right? It can reach out and leave voicemail drops. It can go out and correspond with your prospects at given times, depending on how it's trained. And then if it sees a response, it pauses it, right? So they're not getting spammed with that constant contact that may not be needed. Okay, and this one alone can save 2 to 20 hours a day. And this is a real world screenshot. We blurred out some of the PII, of course, of this is the automation and AI doing that follow-up for you. So David, this is the answer to your question. Yes, it's possible. Does that make sense, Scott?
Yeah, I love it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Chris, what I know this one is very, very deep and highly customizable. I know you want to add something to this.
Yeah, the one piece with this also is you can kind of dream with this. What do you want your ideal follow-up to be? And then how do you want to interact? Do you want it to be send a text message if there's a phone number, if not send an email template, if not notify somebody? Also reading responses, depending on the system that you're using, this can be integrated and interact with other intelligent response solutions like a Watson AI or Structurally to control actual AI conversations that then are feeding our system that goes in and types in the text, hits send, goes out, logs in as a next agent. So it's sending from that direct agent's phone number instead of an outside service. And so again, these are interacting with any piece of software, whether it's APIs or browsers or desktop applications. And so you can get very customized down to how you want to operate, or you can just use some of the high level things. They're the most common things that are automated first.
Scott,
I love that, man.
Imagine the ancillary benefits from those. You think that when you're trying to prospect or recruit top talent and work for you, if you've got the most advanced automation where they don't have to do this and the system does it for you and it's already trained, they would rather work for you or the place where they've got to smash their face against the desk 8 hours a day. Right?
Yeah, and dude, I love that it like layers in with some of these other solutions too that people are already using, right? So it creates that secondary layer of like, oh, we have this chat bot doing this chat, but now we know we want to have the agent doing it. And then it's now you've created this AI automation from the agent level, that like secondary level down, that's more custom. It's pretty amazing.
Well, and what we've seen, you're absolutely correct. And what we've seen is other industries have already been leveraging this technology. We always joke that, oh, real estate's 10 years behind. It's more like 20, right? And we're living in Moore's law, and this technology is accelerating so fast compared to like 6 months ago when we were building this to today. It's night and day. There's no comparison. And so I'm not trying to create an undue sense of urgency, but like if you're not leveraging some sort of automation in your business, you are being left in the dust. Yeah, it's true, because some of the highest.
Yeah, some of them like.
Huh? Was that you, Scott?
No.
I'm like, don't we have that already?
Okay, let's mute everybody. So use case number, and we will take Q&A at the end, so don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll sing some Christmas carols and stuff. All right, so use case number 4 is also one of my favorite. I've got 2 favorites. It was this one and the one that I previously showed you. This one, it will go in, and anytime that you've missed an opportunity to follow up on a lead, right? Call, text, message, note, email that's not logged in the system, this will pick it up, put it all in one spot, and send it to you. And I want you to, I'm going to read this line out loud. If you can't see this line right here, quick update for today. Of the 26 leads today, 14 did not have follow-up at 30 minutes. 12 did not have follow-up at 45 minutes. How do you think the business owner feels about that? All right. Oh, well, then here's a list of all of the leads with the agent assigned, and then a link so you can just boop, go to the lead, do job, right? And you can get this every day, every hour, every week, every month. We've seen it per agent. We've seen it per expansion market. This is accountability at a PhD level. I mean, it's all.
Dude, I love this so much, this one, because it's like, it creates such certainty. It's like my bills, every month. Like, I know I'm getting charged by all these fucking bills, excuse my language, every month. This is like that for me. It's like this email you get, a certainty of like, oh, all my agents aren't doing their job, right?
Yeah,
or we're not getting the follow-up, right? Like,
and it doesn't, and we're not trying to be all sneaky, but the agents don't even need to know. Business leaders can just get this. You're paying for the leads, you're paying for the marketing, you're paying to keep the lights on. You should probably know if your staff is doing their job or not. And it's really hard to go into your CRM and go lead by lead by lead every single day, especially if you're some of our clients who are getting 1,500 leads a month from various sources. That's a nearly impossible task without automation.
Yeah.
No longer a problem. And Chris, this one's one that's been live for quite some time. Is there anything that you would like to share on this one before we pivot to the next?
Yeah, I think and thank you. Yeah, great explanation on that. Some of the interesting things about this is as you start to dream, or as people have dreamed about this and figured out what they want to do, there's so many people where sales managers, when you look at AI today, the three most common jobs that get replaced through artificial intelligence right now are programmers, data analysts, so marketing, and sales managers. Because most sales managers' jobs are to find all the opportunities that didn't happen and then go coach through them. But the answers to coaching are usually, hey, if you didn't do this, here's how you coach. And so this is really that customized sales manager piece of what do you want to know, when do you want to know it? And traditionally, like back when I was running a team, it was a retrospective. So like every couple of days or every week, let's see how many we missed or how many don't have follow-up. That's not real time. Knowing right now that that lead at 31 minutes hasn't been followed up with, getting an alert, getting a report at the end of the day, and alerting the people that need to be alerted at the right time to make actions right now. You get real world as fast as you want it without having to say, hey, can you go adjust your job and do that? You just tell a computer to do it and it does it for you. Yeah.
What comes to mind, Chris, there is this is proactive lead management versus reactive lead management, right? So, and it's this goes all the way back to, you know, the genesis of CAS services. You know, we build some of the highest level websites in the business, and what we have found is when somebody's registering on your website as a real estate professional, they're registering on 4 to 6 others in a 30-day period once they have decided to buy or sell a home. Okay, i.e., if you are not following up on that lead punctually, you are handing all of that money to your direct competition, paying for their vacations, their company cars, and to put you out of business. This fixes that problem. Okay. Use case number 5. This one is insane.
I love how dramatic you're out of business.
Yeah, well,
David, I love it.
What did NAR say? What did NAR say? 25 to 30% of real estate professionals are going to be out of business in the next 5 years. Why? Because of the consolidation and the influx of mass capital and the advent of technology and automation in the real estate space. Read their latest research. This is not a joke, guys. Like, we're building this because it's real and it's needed in the marketplace, not because it's all fun. Because it's not always fun programming this stuff. Okay?
Yeah, lay the hammer. I love it.
Yeah, all right. That's just me. I'm a little intense. But anyway.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. I'm here to lighten the mood. David's
good. Let's drop some more F-bombs because that really did tickle me. So this allows essentially the automation tool will go into a CRM. It logs into the CRM as if it were a person and can manually navigate a list of leads that have returned to your website. So it's almost like a surveillance device in a really cool way. And the fact that it's watching your website, okay? And when somebody's coming back to your website, the automation in AI says, whoop, they're on my website. And then automatically can send one of many different messages that we can prefabricate, video, whatever, to that lead. Hey, I see you're on the website. Can I connect you with one of the agents? Or it can go ahead and assign it to an agent. It could change the tag like you've seen in some of the other automation use cases. So it's like remarketing on crack. It's amazing. And it works really, really well. We're able to capture opportunities in real time, right? When they're on your website, when they know that they have the aperture open for you to go in and get the transaction. Does that make sense? It does? Good. Chris, I know you want to add to this one because it's ultra complex, right? From how it works in the back end.
Yeah, it's been interesting to hear how people have used this because they're able to customize it in a way that normally drip campaigns can't be. So the idea that waiting until they come back on the site and then saying, well, hey, if they've been messaged in the last 30 days, don't send them a message yet, and then rotate through these other ones. But if they have this tag, do a different action. If we send them something before, notify the agent that they've come back. And so just being able to really customize that process. Like, do you have any agents or any ISAs or any wish list where any of the people in your database, nurture leads, past clients, anybody is not getting the activity that you need them to? Instead of kind of a new lead managing that communication, this is the idea of digging into your database of people that are already there, looking for certain actions, and then firing all these other automations based off of that. So it can kind of nurture a database of 1,000 or 100,000. The computer doesn't care. It's just how many browsers need to log in the website and type at the same time instead of people.
I wish I had this 10 years ago, right? Like, this would have changed the entire marketing game. Because I'm, again, a marketing guy, and I build drip campaigns and remarketing campaigns. And really the sticking point is your long tail revenue. What, on average, buyer leads 14 months to nurture the transaction, especially in today's market with inventory issues. This fixes that problem. I'm going to hammer on that all day long. because we're trying to diagnose what the largest pain points are, right, for the real estate professional and for their balance sheets, and then shore all that up through automation. So again, I challenge you, bring us your hardest problems. I would be surprised if we can't fix them.
So wait, how like quickly can you get the, like, let's say I'm the buyer, right? And I go back, I revisit the website and I'm, poking around.
Yep.
How quickly can you control, like how quickly you want the message to come to that person?
Yes, sir.
So you can like be like, hey, like if you want to mess with them, you can be like, hey, I see that you're on the website searching for this particular home, like right away via text.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
God, I love that.
And you can also, I'm watching you through your webcam. Wouldn't recommend.
Let's keep it legal.
Yeah.
This allows you to say your website is your storefront, right? This allows you to know who's in your store.
No,
so
that's a great analogy.
Yeah, give your sales staff the tools that they need to succeed instead of, I don't know, let's just figure it out and just randomly go around your CRM hunting for leads. You don't have to anymore. The automation fixes that.
Yeah, David, one other piece with that is just the idea of scalability. Like there's a national insurance company, and we also use this in our insurance company. But the idea that if you have a staff that's built for 4 new incoming leads or 8 new incoming leads or 20, if you have 100, that just means they're going to take longer. With these types of processes, you can have them just scale out and fire up 50 servers and run them all at the same time. And so depending on how you need it to be scalable, how many you needed to engage, normally people are very expensive to scale this way. And again, I love what David said. I mean, this is let the people be more human and let the scaling be done by things that are very easy to flex up and down without stressing people out.
Yeah, I love what you said there, Chris, because the reality is like, if we're talking 3 to 5 years ago with, every single lead generation platform, IDX platform, whatever, like it was all about, we're generating these leads, you have to contact them right away. And the assumption was like, they're ready to do something, but the reality is they're not. The majority of them are not. 90% of them, 95, whatever it is, are not ready to do anything. So it's what you're doing now is like taking that and flipping it and going, yeah, they're not ready. What are we going to do to give them the best experience, the value, the content that they need that's automated on their journey, that isn't like, I just opted in on this site and I'm a buyer that's ready to buy in 2 years, but I'm getting the phone pounded on me from the mortgage officer asking me to get pre-approved right now, when I'm like, I didn't even say anything about doing that, right? And so I think it's, matching the market. And this goes back to, David, what you talked about, message to market. The reality is that for a long time, the automation and the campaigns, all that stuff would miss that. It would be a huge miss, the message to market with that automation. Now what you're doing is you have the visibility and the transparency and the control to give these people the message that they deserve at that moment, so that it's matching up with the market.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Like, we have to understand that lead follow-up is not a one-size-fits-all game. How you follow up with different types of leads based off of how they came in and their sense of urgency and the size of the transaction that they're looking to do should dictate how those leads are followed up with. And automation allows you to do that. But it appears to the consumer is extremely personal. You saw that first slide. Just a text message from that person's number, from, with the video that we can prefabricate, and then the AI does all the rest. And so this literally is live. And the individual that's using that particular tool is, we can generate a lead, have the automation system run the lead, contact nurture process, take care of all the documentation in CRM. Can you just understand what we just said? Your agents don't have to do it anymore, right? And now all they have to focus on is just hang out with the client, spend time with the client like you should be doing, like you wish you could do, but you have to manage all of this stuff in your CRM. You don't have to anymore. Automation does it for you. It's pretty game changing.
David, one more piece.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is, yeah. So one more piece with that last slide. This is the creative use of that same type of tool. Actually, sorry, one before this. Is there some systems and there's some teams, depending on how they're running their business, where they're still using the MLS to send out searches instead of maybe using a CRM system that sends out searches. And so what they ended up using is having a system go into multiple systems and actually checking, hey, when this lead is pulled up, go in the MLS, check how many properties are being sent to them. If no properties are being sent, have the system robotically and automatically open up the aperture of that search to open up the price ranges, open up the areas to make sure they're seeing properties so that they can get a response and fine tune versus saying there's no properties available to you. And so again, those are previously only human tasks that humans have to go in and click on every single search and go through and adjust and make sure they're seeing properties. Again, you can teach a machine to do that and do it in mass through your entire database.
It's incredible.
That is incredible.
It makes me want to where will this be in a year? You know, it's because things are accelerating at a logarithmic pace. Like it's hard for me to even conceptualize, you know, how far we have come just in the last year. It's really, really neat. So it's one of the largest pain points in the real estate space in my experience. And that's actually going in and creating the leads and doing the data entry, right, from disparate systems into one centralized system. Right? So you don't have to have a human in the loop anymore until the lead is ready to speak with you, because the automation and all of the lead input overhead has been done with the automation and AI. Okay. So this is to kind of put a bow on it as we move into the 7th use case here. Because honestly, in our businesses, I hate this. I hate having to do all of that and take all the information from all the different places and put it in a base and then set my follow-ups and everything. Guess what? I don't have to anymore. I just spend time talking to people because the automation handles all this stuff. It's really incredible. Chris, what about that, man? Chris, do you have anything to add?
I don't have anything.
Yes.
Not really, outside of just the idea that this is filling a form on a computer based on any other information that comes from anywhere. And so if you or your agents have ever found yourselves filling out a form or filling out 2 forms or filling out the same form 100 times once a week for whatever reason, any of those types of forms, we can grab that information. I mean, a system can grab that information out of any system, even manually. I mean, the system can go log in, click through leads, find the ones it needs to, open up another system, go type stuff in. I mean, all kinds of different things. And so there's a lot of repetition today in the industry. And again, just getting rid of that, even if it's a manual process, even if it's using desktop applications.
Oh, wow. So you're telling me this can be laptop, mobile, desktop, you know, everything else and pull it into all one repository?
Yeah, we have some that, I mean, so like this one specifically, and I'm just thinking about clients that I've talked with where they're using desktop stuff. And a lot of our clients are similar. So like my day job is mortgage, insurance, partnerships with agents. And so in talking with some of our clients and similar, we're working on the mortgage insurance side with somebody that David's working with them on the automation and digital marketing side. And so sometimes we have to put those together as far as how is insurance and mortgage working with their CRM. And for some of them, like that one where it's uploading photos, it's actually interacting on a desktop and going to the text message screen, clicking the upload photo, uploading the animated GIF, typing in the link. And so it's working with a desktop application using desktop tools and the CRM website to accomplish what couldn't be accomplished a different way with that specific CRM.
Love it. Love it. And I was just giggling while you were talking because I'm reading the chat and I've got Devin, Dave Tam, great to meet you. He's like, I want use case 4. So I'm going to just hijack the entire presentation because I appreciate that. Yep, I want this one too. This is incredible. It's full accountability and transparency into the leads that you're paying for, right? So this is, I would say, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong here, probably one of the hottest tools out there right now for automation implementation. Yeah, because it's full accountability.
Yeah, and on that, there's a team here in Colorado up north, and they were paying virtual assistants 480 hours a month. There's 16 hours a day, 30 days out of each month. So 480 hours a month of live human coverage in order to go into every single lead that came in and check it 3 or 4 times in the first hours, make sure somebody did something, go back a week later and check it, and then do these weekly checks. All of that's eliminated because you don't need people available. And no matter how many leads the system is working through, it's not going to get bogged down. And so just able to scale without having to say, oh my gosh, that person's off. Are we going to get our lead reports today? Are we going to miss something? And so again, that scalability and how many full-time people do you need available to cover hours like that, just different animal in the software world.
So I want to go a little bit deeper on that one. So not only, you said 480 hours, let's say we're paying a VA, I don't know, $4 an hour. So we just saved $1,800 in raw labor, but then you know that the leads that you're paying for are getting better follow-up in a punctual manner. And so you're getting the additional GCI as well as taking that lead away from your competition. right? So that's the cool part, Scott, about automation. It's not just, benefit channel solitary. You get the entire ecosystem of automation, as well as the recruiting. Do you want to work for me because I have these tools and they don't? Probably. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, and guys, seriously, guys and gals, in the chat, questions, comments, concerns, we will open it up for Q&A here at the end. I'm going to go ahead and hammer through to the last one, use case number 7. I don't personally use this one. So Chris, are you open to talking about use case number 7?
Yeah, this is one that I personally use. And again, the point of this is kind of what I find exciting, using these things and using it every day in different ways and interacting with our staff that's using this every day and the time savings they have now versus what they had to do before in their jobs. Is again, the dreaming piece is what we've seen as we install the first automation. It's like, oh, what about that one? As we install the second or third, it's like, oh my gosh, what about those 3? And so the dreaming helps you understand that the way you build business isn't the way it had to be built in the past. That's just the way that we're still doing it because we haven't adjusted yet. And so this was one that came from the idea of, like, me personally, I have tasks in OneNote. I have tasks in a Google Sheet. I have tasks in a CRM, actually 2 different CRMs for 2 different companies. I have tasks on my e-ink tablet. And so what this is it's basically just using the same thing that'll go in every day, pull all those tasks into one spot, and then aggregate them, save them into a PDF, put it into a Google Docs or Google Drive so it can show up on my e-ink reader every day. So I wake up in the morning and I can just see, okay, here's everything I need to do today from every source. Now, some people like to work in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 systems. Good for you, that's not me. So again, just the idea that if there's other things that you want to automate, there hasn't been a use case that we've asked for that David and team haven't been able to do. And I haven't heard of any use cases that anybody I know that's a client of Cast has asked for that wasn't able to be done either.
Awesome. So you're saying I don't have to manage my sticky notes anymore? Like, I've got all over my desk.
You love to, so keep doing it. Yep.
Yeah, right. If you don't know, I'm a nerd. We've got the Lord of the Rings background here. So that should be a testament of what geeks we are. So Scott, does this number 7 make sense? As far as
can you inject this into my brain so my brain just
yeah, definitely. So have you seen the series Severance where they inject a little chip and you get to go? It's insane. You should definitely see it.
Yeah, I saw previews for it. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Wait, what about use case 8?
You what? What'd you say?
Use case number 8.
Use case number 8 is Joe.
No, I was gonna say we go back to the beginning. We're talking about cloning, so you don't have to have agents anymore. You just clone yourself.
Got it. Use case number 8. We'll clone you. Ask cloning. Okay, Chris, go ahead and file the patents right now. And so this is Joe. Joe is the executive of a multi-million-dollar brokerage. We interviewed Joe. We're like, yeah, what's automation done for you over the course of the last umpteen number of months, right? And he said, well, he got pretty granular with it. It used to take 23 hours for an entire lead nurture cycle for him of labor, 23 hours of labor, which now only takes 3.5 hours of labor because the automation is handling that 19.5 that's left over, right? And their clients are getting better contact rates, better transaction rates, their agents are happier, their expenditure is less, they're easier to recruit because they have these different tools that their competition does not. He's extremely happy, okay? And now everything, all of the wording as well, the dialogue, it's going to be on point every single time, and you can change it up anytime you want. That's the really cool part about it. You're not chained to this oak tree of, hey, this is your drip campaign that you're going to have for the next 5 years. Have a nice day. It doesn't work like that anymore, right? We have evolved as an industry, I believe.
So Chris, David, I got a quick question for you guys. So, I can foresee the next level down being yeah, we implemented everything you're offering. How do we explain it to a recruit, right? Have you guys kind of gotten to that level yet where you're helping them present this as part of their unique offer, their value prop for their local market?
I have. Chris, have you? Because I can speak to that if go ahead. You speak to it, and I'll speak to it. Because I definitely, yes. And it's all about packaging and breaking it down to the lowest common denominator. We have technology that can do XYZ, and the impact is ABC. That's really, at the end of the day, what they need to know.
I mean,
and us handle the heavy lifting of the implementation, if that makes sense.
Right, of course. Yeah, you would obviously simplify it.
Yeah.
And with that, so we took a lot of cues when we were first installing this from what's happened in the Fortune 100, 500 world over the last kind of 18 months, 2 years. Inside that world, this is going to be a little long spiel, but I think it'll be very applicable to this. Right now, some of the biggest moves with AI and automation is a conglomerate of the chief revenue officer, the chief sustainability officer, and HR getting together to figure out how to roll out AI and automation effectively, because it has a big impact on the workforce. As soon as they know that, hey, that job that I didn't get paid to do yesterday just went away because it just got automated, HR has to be involved, all these things, because you want to make it sustainable for everybody. And we used the use case inside of one of our companies. It was very interesting because we were about to say, okay, do we need to double our staff to handle the increased lead flow? And what ended up happening is we installed the automation, and everybody, they had to have a mindset change. And so we went through with them, here's what your new job is. And they said, wait, I don't have to do that busy work anymore. I can just have more meetings and just have coffee and talk to people. And so we didn't have to hire anybody, but they could do double the work right away. And their job changed to be less busy work, more enjoyable. They're people. That's why they want to have appointments with people. They don't have to type the keys anymore. They let the computers do that. And so there's a big push, just like what you said, of how you install this, of how you talk to people. And you don't want people to be afraid for their jobs. You want them to be excited for a new day where you don't have to use a stone wheel. You can drive a car. You don't have to ride a horse. You could ride a bus. And so the idea of people being afraid of AI, we're not going down the Terminator road. I mean, there's no guns and red eyes and machines walking around today. But with that, the idea is let people be more human. This is not here to threaten jobs. It's here to allow more scaling. And as commission compression and margin compression is happening, you have to get the savings somewhere, or you have to go after the commissions that agents are getting paid in order to stay afloat.
Yeah. And then in addition to what you just said is like, as there's more and more companies generating leads, we know that the quality of the lead naturally is going to go down, right? So do you want your agents bogged down doing the worst activities of like calling people that they don't even know they're going to answer, and they just don't even do it and follow up because they know that the leads, most of them are garbage? Or do you want them doing what you just said, spending quality time building relationships with those that are going to refer or work with them, or work with them down the road, and like maintaining that relationship, which is what you want? Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, here's another smiling face. We'll call this use case number 9. If I get my cursor to work. This is Micah. So Chris, I'm going to let you speak to this one as far as the ones and zeros of what they've seen, but I want to read the first 2 lines. Last year we did 100 million in sales. This year we're on track to do 200 million in sales. And a lot of that has to do with cast automation. So Mike has been using automation tools with us for quite some time, and it has literally changed his business model on its head, turned his business model on its head. So do you want to speak to the specifics, Chris, of some of the implementation and use cases without sharing too much?
Yeah, absolutely. Micah is an incredible operator. I mean, the person that can spout off 100 different metrics and how they're all improving, what their agents are doing. I mean, he knows his business backwards, forwards, the personalities, the buttons, the levers. And so this started a couple of years ago, actually on a vacation when I was with Micah, just talking about his business and understanding where he was going, how he was doing things. And the idea that you're storing data in so many different systems. You've got this in a CRM, you've got this in another CRM, you have this in showing time, you have this over here in a Google Sheet, you have this in a reporting platform. The agents have to track these 3 things in order to assign appointments. And when you're getting to that multi-100 million of sales, you're getting to a scalability where that stuff can grind you to a halt. And so what happened here was kind of a centralized database, not a CRM, but a centralized place where all that information goes, that all the automation fires out from, that can bring together FTP drops and CSV exports of showing data, and can manually go into archaic systems, actually click the download button, take that Excel file, upload it into the centralized system, and then fire all these automations, including actual phone notifications, text messages. You need to do this. Here's a lead that needs to be updated for whatever portal, and then going in and putting that actual update in the portal. Even some of the stuff we worked with RealSync on, of once the information's there, they can give updates through text message, and the system goes and fires up the CRM or through API, puts that update and those notes in the CRM. So agents aren't doing double entry. They're not having to update a CRM and then go update another system and go tell somebody something. Again, if you can dream how this should be a simpler process, it may not have been built that way, but it can be adjusted now to be that way.
Very nice. Very nice.
Awesome.
So this is the almost last slide, right? So this one is just, I truly challenge you to look at your business and say, of what you've seen today, how can you apply that to yours, and then come to us with other problems, right? Let's open a dialogue and see if with RealSync and us that we can fix that for you. And what I want to do now is, Scott, if you're open to it, I know we got about 10 minutes left.
Well, we got a question from David, so let's answer that, and then
So David Wilson, great. Dave Tam, good to meet you. Great name. So can this track calls from our office phones or mobile phones as well? Chris, what do you say to that?
So we've seen, and the reason I'm answering some of these is we've been through the guinea pig seat for years, working with all our systems and working with developers to figure out how all those are accessed and how all the information comes in to be automated and understood by this machine learning artificial intelligence. And if there's a way you can get that data through a desktop application or through an API or through another system or through a download, then yes, it can be analyzed. Now, can we go hack your iPhone and steal your contact information? No, thankfully, that'd be terrifying. But if there's anywhere, if there's even a website where you can go and log into your phone system and see what calls have been made, then yes, that can even be set up on a process where a computer that can understand and read the screen is watching that and then firing actions and passing that data back and forth to other applications. So in a sense, yes, it can be done, but there has to be the ability to see it on the screen. So an artificial intelligence screen reader can understand it and ingest that information and decide what to do with it. Or it has to be accessible through some type of a system.
Yeah. So example would be like if they're just using their Apple iPhone and calling through the phone and not calling through like Follow Boss's phone system or this system or that or this VoIP, right? Or using Twilio or whatever. It's going to be, without, like you said, Chris, hacking the phone, there's going to be that that block there, right?
But what we're starting to see, because obviously we've got our hands in other large companies as well with technology, there's bridges, right, of devices talking to each other, right? And this is coming out in the market of the next generation iPhones being able to interface with pieces of software remotely, right? So you can do database uploads and that kind of stuff. These things are in beta tests right now. So even if we can't do it today, it doesn't mean we won't be able to do it in 6 months. Right. So that's where it's really, really exciting because things are accelerating so fast. Again, we've never encountered something we couldn't fix. So bring that problem to us and task us with seeing if we can do it. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. What other questions? Seriously, I want this to be a dialogue. So if you want to unmute yourself or if they're allowed to, Scott.
Yeah, they can. Absolutely.
Let's have a chat. Seriously, does anybody have any of the questions that for the information that we went over today? And by the way, Don Kiefer, I hope you're doing well. I see your name on there on the list. No, I'm gonna start telling jokes if you guys don't talk. We've got 8 more minutes.
No,
don't do it. All right. So, if nobody else has questions, how to reach out? Okay, so you can go to our website, cast.services, CAST.services. Any of the lead forms on any of the pages. Hey, saw you on the webinar with RealSync. Love to chat. Set up a time to talk, go through what your obstacles are. We can maybe give you a little more granularity in some of the use cases that we went through, as well as some of the most modern use cases that may not have been, in this presentation that we're working on right now. Okay.
And David, I think it's important for people to know that, like, from a comparative perspective, again, as you cut out some labor, as you introduce some of these automations, there's a lot of labor savings there, which at the same time, like, I don't know what you guys are charging currently per month. I'm sure there's a variation of costs, but
sure.
The amount you're going to save on,
Well, let me use the real world case study here. So of the 480 hours that were saved, right? $4, let's say it was $4 an hour. There's $1,700. I'm not going to do the public math. More than that, $1,700 of cost savings. I can tell you conclusively that the automation for that was less than that cost savings. That does not account for the additional GCI, the additional transactions, all of the other ancillary revenue that's coming in, right, from that. So we have intentionally, we know we can price this stuff at a premium. We didn't. We priced it so that the individual agents can have their hands around this technology and really be able to fight the compression that's coming. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I think one of the pieces there, David, I remember hearing you talk about, and I don't know, without going too deep in this, starting this out years ago, I mean, I know what we paid just to build this inside of some of the other companies. And it's not just, there's not a developer. I mean, it's when you have a development team to audit, to manage servers, to, I mean, all these different things that come with it. That's why it's Fortune 100 and 500 that have been doing this for a couple of years. I mean, that initial price came down by about 80% by the time first clients were installed. And then even last week, the most recent one was at half that cost. And so the idea is that that we continue driving this cost lower and lower and lower as there's more and more expertise and more scale built, because business is going this direction. It's going to go this direction with you or without you. You can choose to be on the bus and have the savings in automation, or you can still choose to use a stone wheel and flint and steel and don't use a lighter. It's completely up to you.
Awesome. Well, that
was such a straight face.
yeah, I know. It's just,
I'm gonna go get on my horse real quick.
I still light my cigars with flames. So, by the way, so Chris, is there anything else that we didn't cover in the presentation that you would like to add to this? And otherwise, if you want to reach out, definitely let us know. And what we'd like to do, Scott, maybe come back in a few months and show you even more most recent use cases, to add to what we have here that works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I almost mentioned something. I don't even know if I was allowed to mention it about your cool video thing that you showed me last time, but
no, we're not. Nope. Do not mention that. We have other things that we're working on for, automation and AI.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You signed that NDA. All right. So
did I? I did. Oh yeah. I'm so used to signing them. I don't even read them anymore. Anyway, all right. Yeah. I mean, and guys, obviously RealSync and Cast Services partner together, and we're constantly doing projects for them behind the scenes when we need to do some API type integration stuff. So we're working with them to help them. But what they're doing is, I mean, it just, for me, it doesn't make sense if I'm looking at it from real estate team to not have something like this at this point. Right. And it goes to show, like, you're either continuing to move forward with the times, or you're stuck, in the old guard, doing things archaically. And we're on the precipice of change right now. So it's like getting involved in doing some of these things right now is going to give you that leverage. In a few years, you're just going to be coming in when everyone else is already doing it. Right. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Well, and that's it. Here's the thing is, just because you're exposed to technology doesn't mean you actually have to do it, right? You just understanding the technology and open the dialogue of what is possible to plant the seeds of what you can do down the road if it's not a good fit today. That is important, right? To understand what your competition is going to be doing and where the industry is headed. And it's not just real estate. We're seeing this across the entire country, agnostic of industry, right? It's
right.
where we are. Okay.
Absolutely.
So everybody, thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot. Chris, thanks for being here. Scott, thanks for hosting us. If anybody wants to reach out, let us know. And if you have questions, comments, feedback, again, just reach out and we'll get right back to you. Okay.
Yeah. And then also, obviously, like, we record this, of course, you'll get a replay from us, and reach out. David is happy to diagnose your system and tell you exactly where you need to be improving it. Thanks Chris. Thanks David. I love you guys, obviously. Yeah. And hopefully I'll get to see you one of these industry events soon.
Yeah, we'll see.
That'd be great.
Have a great day, guys.
Once you make a clone for me, I'll just send the clone.
I already have him in my closet. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate you.
See everybody.
See ya.